All right, what is going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo Sports Talk and more. My name is Patrick Moran. Thank you, as always, for checking us out, whether you're listening in audio podcast form, whether you're watching us on YouTube. Appreciate y'all very much. If you are listening to this, I am sure you can hear plenty of noise in the background. We are recording this live from Sonny Red's Abbott Road here in Lackawanna, and I am joined for this special episode, which, by the way, I always say at the beginning, Buffalo Sports Talk and more. And today is one of those episodes where it's going to be and more, because we're not really talking sports today. We're talking wings. And for that reason, I felt this would be a perfect time to bring in Luke and Tom from the Buffalo Wing Coalition. They are with me here live at Sonny Red's. Gentlemen, what's going on? How you doing?
It's a beautiful day to be in Buffalo, and especially on a Wing Wednesday here. We got fantastic weather. We got dollar wings at Sonny Red's, and yeah, thank you for having us, Pat. We're happy to be here.
I am very happy to have both of you here, and this is what we're going to do today. We're going to spend some time. I want to talk about Buffalo Wing Coalition, and then at some point we're going to get into my 7 tiers, the 2024 Wings rankings in tiers. And I used to do this kind of as a joke. You guys do this for real, and we're going to talk about that. But I realized after a while that people really have an opinion on wings. Everybody has their thoughts. Everybody has their favorites. Everybody has their takes. So now for the last 4 years, I've been to like 90 or so places, and I kind of rank them and tier them, and I'm going to kind of drop those on everybody today. Update that for 2024. I want to talk about Buffalo Wing Coalition. I discovered you guys a handful of months ago, and now I pretty much go on your Instagram page all the time. You guys got a really good following there, like around 10 grand. You guys got a good following on Facebook. Tell people how you started this. Like, why did you start Buffalo Wing Coalition? Because I've seen other groups out there, so like on Facebook, that have done this, but you guys have taken it to a whole other level.
Right. I think the biggest thing is we stuck with it, because we, like you said, when you started your tiers, we almost started the page as kind of like a quote unquote joke. So my brother and I founded it back in 2017, and
that long ago?
It was 27.
Oh, wow.
2017.
You guys went under the radar for quite a while.
Yeah, but I mean, as all pages start, whether it's a blog or a podcast or an Instagram page, there's got to be some inspiration behind it. So as we were talking earlier, we kind of grew up going to Barbell in East Aurora. So that was a big thing for us. We're like, hey, we enjoy these so much. We go on Tuesdays, buy 10, get 10 free. Why not expand this a little bit? So the first post that we had was actually, I think it was like 10 breaded medium wings from Barbell. And we ordered them specifically that way. And that was our first post. And you see a lot of Instagram pages, they start with 2 or 3 posts and then they trail off, they stop. And for us, we're just like, let's just continue to roll with it. And it started with us bringing friends on here and there, expanded to let other people in. You know, Tom joined us here, and he's got vast experience in the restaurant industry as well, you know, trying different places. And it kind of just took off from there. But the biggest thing is we stuck with it. We took it seriously. And just as our bio says, we're trying to shed light on some of Buffalo's darkest taverns.
And you guys do a great job of it. Talk about some of the experience and like you going to some of these wing places. And then I want you guys to talk about for the people some of, like, when you guys, because you guys tier your stuff too, you write up a place, you have photographs, you talk about it. Talk about like what some of the criteria is. Like when you go to a place, whether it's Sonny Red's, you name it, any place in the world for wings, like what are some of the things that you're looking for before you do a review?
All right, so first and foremost, it's about the crispiness and the sauce. We don't, most of our ratings are based off like a straight hot. So if you have a good hot, you're probably going to be in one of our top tiers. We obviously order way more flavors than that. We usually get like 6 to 8 flavors, depending on if they could break it up in 5 or 10, which a lot of places don't do that. So if you do that, you get bumped up a little bit. You give us 5 instead of 10, right? Flavors of 5. But other than that, we always judge the blue cheese. If it's just a regular restaurant cans, or did they make their own, right? That's a big criteria for us. But also the environment, like a place like this, right? Small, local, the people, and obviously the service.
Yeah. Talk about the responsibility that comes, because as you grow, all right, so, you know, I'm primarily a sports guy, or at least I like to think I am. And I tweet about the Bills, the Sabres, and nobody gives a shit any more than the next guy, you know, but I discovered when I moved to Florida in 2017, I came back home to Buffalo at least a couple times a year. And I would go to a different wing place like every day. And I'd have a picture up there and some thoughts. And I was like, holy shit, the interaction when you tweet about wings or you put up a photo or you have some thoughts about them, it really grows. And now it's at a point where there's not a week that goes by where I don't get a couple DMs asking, what do you think? What do you recommend to go to this place? Or, I'm coming into town from wherever. You guys, I'm sure, are starting to get a lot of that as well. If you're not having for quite a while now. Talk a little bit about like kind of almost the responsibility, because we talked about this over our wings there at Sonny Red's, which, by the way, we're going to talk about Sonny Red's, the wings, in a handful of minutes. A little bit of a spoiler alert here, but just talk about like kind of like the responsibility that you have now, because you want to be nice to places. You don't want to be disparaging towards anybody, but now as you guys grow, kind of your credibility, your reputation is kind of on the line. So if you go talking up a place to no end and someone goes there, and a lot of people go there and they're like, these wings are no good at all. Yeah. It's a bad look for you. So kind of talk about that responsibility. How it goes from being like a little bit of a joke to actual something like real responsibility now.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's still our opinion what we do on our page.
Sure.
So this doesn't happen very often, but we've had someone message us, what makes you the authority on wings? We're not. This is our opinion. You don't have to follow us, but we do have pretty good experience trying different places. But I think the biggest thing is we don't take any recommendation lightly, put it that way. I have a list alphabetized on my phone that I keep where if someone just says, hey, the wings here are great, I'll mark it down. Of all the places we've been to, I have 80 that we still have yet to get to. So one of the biggest things we try to do is we'll try to do tours where, okay, we're not going to go to Lewiston for one place. We'll go hit 4 or 5 up there and try to hit different areas and stuff like that. So pretty much any place that begins with a 716 area code, we're going to try to get to, and we're not going to take any recommendation too light or too seriously, whatever it is, but trying to pretty much even that out and get to places that might be off the radar. Our goal is to try to get to those places before someone else does. So we can say, hey, we're kind of this place. We uncovered the hidden gem. You know what I mean? Like we brought some pretty good lights to Adolph's in the past couple, past year or so. And we're proud of that. If we have good wings somewhere, we're going to tell people about it.
Yeah. When it comes to credibility as well, there's a group of 5 of us, right? So it's not just one person's opinion. Usually we go in groups of 5, an uneven amount of numbers. So it's like,
and that's important.
Yes, exactly. Do you want to put them in this tier or this tier? And it takes a group vote, a percentage base, right? Just like everything else in the world, to put you in that top tier, tier 2 or tier 3. So it's a group effort. It's not just one person's opinion. It's like our group. Obviously, it's personal opinion, but if 5 people agree on it, that means you probably have a great wing.
Sure. I mean, I like that a lot too. I might go somewhere and try a wing, and it's just for whatever reason, it's not for me. But let's say us 4 out, we go for wings, and 3 of us really like it, and I'm the one who did it. Maybe it's me who has the wrong opinion, which, again, kind of that balance of you don't want to take yourself too serious. Like you said, people say that you're the authority of the wings. I'm not necessarily, you don't necessarily
places
think that.
Don't pay us. We're doing it for fun. We're doing it to support local business.
You're doing it for fun. You're doing it exactly. Support local business. But at the same token, like I said, it has to matter to you. Like it's not a joke.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a joke because
it takes effort. We don't post a picture and then do no caption. We'll do our pro tip. We'll do our must order. We'll do all the different hashtags that we need to do on Instagram and really give our full opinion on it. Tell how the service was, if we had a great waitress, things like that. So when I write a review, I usually don't write the review the same day that we ate the wings.
Right.
It's going to be the next day because I'm going to take a full half hour to 60 minutes writing it, throw a couple puns in there, get a little humor, talk about our experience. But no, you're right. We don't take it lightly, but it's still, it's fun at the same time.
Plus, you don't want to have that like instant emotional response. Sometimes sleep on something.
If you write an angry letter, send it the next day. If you still want to send it, to sleep on it a little bit. Yeah.
We were talking a little bit here before the show too, that I do this, and I know that you guys do this as well. And I think this is important. At the end of the day, we're just a handful of people who have opinions on wings, and we're not no better or worse than anyone else. We all have normal taste buds like everybody else. And we also know that as your following grows and more people watch what you write or what you say, that's going to influence some opinions. And we make it a point to, even if like the wings themselves are not for you, and like if they're not good wings, we try really hard to find something else positive about the place that you go to. Like their wings might not be good, but maybe they have a great roast beef sandwich, or they have something else that's really good. The service was great. You try to find a way to to highlight good things about a place, even if those wings specifically aren't for you.
Yeah, I would agree on that because these people are just normal human beings, right? And they live off this place, right? They own this place.
Right.
They have one off day. We all have off days at work, right? So if you have one bad wing one day there, you got to try it more than once just to judge a book by its cover, right? So we don't try to put people down because they make a living off of this, right?
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you. Maybe early on too, I think at times I was a little bit harsh. Like I used to do reviews, and I kind of tie it into sports. And I would compare a chicken wing to a football team.
I saw the quarterback right a couple years ago. Yeah,
I would do it with quarterbacks, and that would be like this team. They're a 4-12 team, and this quarterback is Rob Johnson or somebody terrible like that. And there were a couple times where I felt bad about that. You know what I mean? It was like kind of felt unnecessary. I could have just said these wings aren't good. I can't recommend them, but go here and try this instead or whatever. And I just kind of.
Sure, and our subtle hint is if we do post a picture that doesn't have a whole elaborate explanation about how good they were, it's just a picture of what they were. So, we're never going to bash a place and say, oh, these were absolutely awful. We might throw 7 good things and the 8th thing be like, oh, this wasn't our best of the tour or something like that.
Yeah, and then the real judge is when you go to the pyramid and look what ranking they're in, right? You won't bash them right away, but you might slip them down a notch, right?
Sure, but let's be honest, if you're even on the pyramid itself, or if you made the 64 places that we did our wing bracket on this past March, you got good wings. You know what I mean? Don't sleep on any of these places that we even mentioned.
I started following that. I kind of got into that. A little upset there, and not a huge upset, a semi upset. So you guys are referring to your pyramid. I don't have anything cool and elaborate. I just say I got 7 tiers. Here's my power rankings and my 7 tiers, which again I'm going to drop on everybody watching or listening in just a few minutes, which, by the way, normally I say that I don't really give a shit if you're listening or watching the show, but today might be a good day to actually watch it because we will have some graphics up on the screen. But anyway, you guys have a pyramid. Talk about that pyramid, and you guys got 6 tiers, and I wrote them down. I want to read them off here. Make sure I don't forget anything. We'll go reverse order. You got your honorable mention in the hunt, the players, contenders, heavy hitters, and elite. Talk about the process of any place, whether it's this place or anywhere else. When you go to a place, how do you end up putting them in a tier? Is it a collaborative effort? Does it depend sometimes on who, one of you guys are? Is there always more than one of you that go?
Yes, no matter what.
Most of the time, yeah. If it's one of us that has a visit, that'll help us create an opinion on something.
Sure,
so
okay.
If one of us is grabbing wings for lunch while we're working, we can't officially make a recommendation off that until we bring everybody. So unless they were that good, and you guys are like, hey, listen, we trust your opinion on this. You know what I mean? So for the most part, before we really judge a place, we try to have it at least somewhere between 1 and 3 times. Obviously, that's physically impossible with how many places there are in Buffalo and the surrounding areas. But generally, that's how we started the pyramid. Is every pyramid has a wide base. It's a wide base for a reason. Is that it's tough to get to the top. But yeah, as we do this, we discuss it. We have a WhatsApp chat where there's
kind of like a war room, maybe a draft war room or something. Somebody's pounding the table for one place.
Wing gossip,
especially if you guys,
all that stuff.
Because I'm sure you guys don't universally agree on every single place that you go to. There's got to be some cases where there's disagreements.
We have arguments probably every day in that.
So if somebody thinks something's top elite and someone thinks it's tier 3, we'll compromise and put it in tier 2 for the most part.
Now,
it doesn't happen too often.
Do you guys ever go to a place where you've had it before and you're like, all right, let's say it's a contender, and then you go there a couple more times since then, and it's either really good and maybe you want to move it up a tier, or sometimes you're like, man, this really isn't what it was the first time it came here. Is there ever movement in your pyramids?
Yeah, we've done 3 versions of it so far, and I think the first one we did even have the player tier. So I put that in there saying, hey, there's a lot of places that I want to highlight this above high. I still want to make another tier in there. So yeah, that's what we did. But it's shifting all the time. I have a running list on my phone where if we do have someone that needs an adjustment, I'll literally put change to this. So the next time we do the graphic, my brother Nick is the one who does all the graphics for our account. He's the one who created the logo. Absolute mastermind with that stuff.
He looks impressive too.
Yeah, he's good. He knows what he's doing. He's the one who founded the page back in 2017, and yeah. So when I have all those ideas, I'm the more organizational person when it comes to it. I keep the lists. I keep all the restaurants that we still need to get to, and basically what I'll do is I'll send a screenshot of update this, do this based on what we talk about in our WhatsApp chat.
We're here live at Sonny Red's, or at least we're recording this live at Sonny Red's, and It's went in like 15 minutes. I'm being relatively quiet before we started the show to significantly louder.
People are passionate about wings, man. It's Wing Wednesday.
They're passionate. They're
Absolutely.
Yeah. And one other thing too, and then I want to get to I want to start unloading on my 7 tiers. Is it blows my mind now that I know how many places you guys have done, and I've looked at your pyramid, and then you showed me tonight all the places that you haven't been to. You said 80 places.
80 places.
It just goes to show you in Buffalo, man, how many places there are to get wings. That's absolutely insane. It's insane.
It makes you happy inside though, because you're in the right spot. If you even enjoy wings a little bit, then you have so many options to get to. And our favorite thing is when we post the pyramid, or we'll do a tour, or we'll just say, hey, these are our top places, and people comment and say, hey, looks like I have my plans made for the summer. Love that, because that means those people who had no intention of going to those places are now going out, supporting those local businesses and shedding some more light.
Yeah, and then when it comes to like tiers, obviously there's like 10 to 20 in each tier about. When you get to like tier 2 and tier 3, maybe they're exactly the same, right? Then you get tier 4 and tier 5, they're exactly the same, because there's, like you just said, there's too many places to put in one graphic, or else you won't be able to read it.
Yeah, and I got to tell you one other thing too. One of my biggest thrills that I get from time to time is when somebody asks me for a recommendation or something like that, like they're in the Amherst area, and I tell them wherever to go to or whatever. I say, I like this place. Then they go and then they thank me and say that was awesome.
Yeah,
kind of feels like the effort that you put in to write about a place or talk about a place or whatever.
That's something we take very seriously too. Is when people say, "Hey, recommendations for places in this area." Before we make the recommendations, we ask them questions. Are you going there in a business meeting? Are you going with 2 or 3 other guys who are into wings? Or are you going with families and kids running around? There's like questions we ask back to people when they ask us what's a good place to get wings, because there's different layers to it. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to send a family of 7 to go eat at the Swanee House. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to happen. It's a hole in the wall. You go there with buddies, you sling some beers, and you got to know what's in front of you. So like, okay, maybe go to Beltline. It's really close, fantastic wings, and you can sit down and have a nice controlled atmosphere.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So with my 7 tiers, like I said, I got 7 tiers, and I use football terms, like team terms for them as well. The last tier, the 7th tier, is waiver wire wings. That's like, I'd rather have wings somewhere else. Okay. I'd rather not have wings. I'd rather just get something else. 6 is my roster bubble wings. Like, I can't recommend them, but I'll eat them. Like, if we're having some beers, a couple buckets of these blue lights there, you put some wings in front of me, I'm going to eat them. 5 is my tier 5 is my depth chart wings. Like, you can do a lot worse, but you can also do a lot better. Kind of like middle of the pack, I guess you could say. My starter wing, or solid starter, that's my 4th tier. I'm not going to complain about them. They're solid. They're not elite, but they're solid. Then I got my 3rd tier, which is my all-pro wings. These aren't like MVP material wings, maybe, but they deserve to be in the conversation. Like, they're on the cusp. They're on the cusp of greatness. And then I have tier 2, which is my elite wings. Like, these could easily, they're on the brink of being immortalized. Like, they're right there up on the Mount Rushmore. Sure. Then, of course, I have my Mount Rushmore. No explanation necessary. All right, so on the video side, I'm going to pull these up, and we're not going to go through all these, but we'll start with my tier 7, which again, and we talked about this a little bit too. Instead of like, the difference between like say 78 and 92, or say 30 and 41 feels like a lot, but it's really not. When you tier them, they're kind of all in the same
borderline impossible.
Now, I know there's going to be at least one here that you guys are going to disagree with. But some of these, again, I don't want to read every single one of them, but this is like my waiver wire tier, the bottom tier. Sure. I look at a couple of these places, like Glen Park Tavern is dead last on my wing ranking. That said, again, we talked about it. I want to find something nice to say about places. Amazing beef on wax sandwich. Connor's Restaurant in West Seneca. Great burger, great place to go with the family to eat. I mean, I could sit here and go through all 92 of these.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. But is there anything on this tier that makes you think, you know what, man, that you're wrong? These should be up significantly more than what they are. What do you got? What do you think?
We had Kettles as a group visit, but they kind of had inside information that we were going there, and they were phenomenal for us.
Yeah.
Right? So
it doesn't take away from the fact that
that matters.
No, it does matter.
Honestly, what other places 25-cent wings on Wednesday too?
And
get your ass there.
They weren't the small wings for 25 cents. They were the big wings. They gave us different flavors. They were cooked perfectly. But like I said, they had inside information. So we had a way better experience than obviously you did at that place.
Yeah.
They do Saucy Saturday where they try like a different like specialty sauce every time too. Any place that even puts a little bit of effort into their wing game like that, like shouldn't be on tier 7. But that's all. That's the only critique we really have here. I mean, like honestly, Pasquale's, I wouldn't even throw them into any type of ranking whatsoever. It's Pasquale's. You go there for microwaved Italian food, and it is what it is.
And we've said this, and I want to even be more clear before we continue. These are literally my opinion. Like my tiers are just my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Even the Buffalo Wing Coalition, as much work as you guys put in, at the end of the day, it's the opinion of a handful of people. Yeah. So again, we take it serious to a point, but don't take it too serious. I just want to put that out there because I know
you have 92 on there proves that you've probably been to more wing places and tried the wings at these places than a majority of people in the area.
Yeah, and in fairness, too, there's going to be a couple on here that we'll get to that are out of business now, because I did this list a handful of months ago, and I just got busy.
Turnover.
And also, too, I need to point out that there are a couple, Manon Hamlin, Malwitz Lanes is one, and then the one you just told me about tonight. Riverfield 865. Like I've heard you tell me really good things about them. They're not on this list anywhere because I haven't had them yet. And I'm sure you got a handful of them too that would go on there as well. So anyway, this is my waiver wire. I'm not going here for wings. I might go here for other reasons like White Checks Lounge. Great fish fry. But I ain't going there.
I glossed over that one.
Yeah,
that one's.
Yeah,
so I'm put that one a little bit higher. Yeah.
All right. So now we'll go to tier 6, which is my roster bubble. This is 60 to 77, all tiered into one. Anything, like I said, on the video side, if you're looking at the graphic, I know Dwyer's Irish Pub is a popular place. I thought the wings were overrated, quite frankly. Yelling Goat in Lancaster.
That's another one, yeah.
Those
are probably the two that stand out. Is Yelling Goat and Dwyer's. We'd probably go higher. Had the wings at Essex a couple of years ago. It's more of a bigger, like, smoked wing. Just that's not really the category we gun for. You know what I mean? So, like, if the wing is that good, we'll throw it in. But generally, we wouldn't put Essex probably in the conversation.
I wouldn't say anything here sticks out to me as either.
Yeah, Mister's is an amazing bar, good restaurant, amazing bar, good place to go to. But again, for the wings specifically only, for me, they just didn't work. And then there's some pizzerias. Like I said, Mineo South, amazing steak subs. I'm doing it. I said I wasn't going to go through all these, and then I feel bad because I'm really sure their wings aren't good. But they got amazing. Like their pizza's really good. Lovejoy Pizza has pretty good pizza.
Leo's hit or miss. Super hit or miss with Leo's.
Let me ask you this too, because there's a difference. We were talking about this a little bit. Some places like Sonny Red's, for an example, we're here and we'll be talking about Sonny Red's in just a few minutes. But like this is more of a restaurant. You're going to sit down at a table, you're going to eat. Yeah. Places like Lovejoy Pizza or the better ones, which we'll be getting to, like Lenova, Imperial Pizza, Macy's Place Pizzeria. There's a big difference to you between pizzeria wings and, say, a restaurant wing like Barbell, which of course we'll be getting to. Places like this, Sonny Red's, stuff like that. Generally speaking, a big difference to you?
Yeah, I mean, you need to sit down. Like I said, there's 5 of us, right? Usually there's 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 to bring your spouses. But you need to be able to sit down. And we talk about the environment, the people that work there, the salary, the blue cheese. Once you put it in a container and take it out of the building, the wings are extraordinarily less hot and less crispy instantly, right?
Sure.
So all that matters. If you can't sit down and eat those wings, then we really steer away from putting those on our pyramid unless they're like the top features in the area. Because like we said, we have 75, 80 in ours, and we still have 80 places that you sit down that you still have to try. So I
thought that I was close to getting to most places in Buffalo. I knew I was missing a good handful. I cannot believe your list of how many places that you haven't been to. It just it blows my mind. So anyway, all right. So that's my 6th tier. I'm going to get to the 5th one. So 6 and 7, I'm going to look for any reason to not have wings there. I'm going to have something else there. Or again. But once we get to depth chart, I'm like, I can have wings there. Like I think,
we're at depth chart now. Okay, I got you.
Now, there's going to be 1 or 2 wing spots here that I actually am going to put myself on blast because I think they're a little bit too low. So this is tier 5, depth chart wings, 43, 59. These, again, are my, you can do worse, but you can do significantly better. I think right off the bat, when I looked at this, because I've had them recently, Joker's is a bad decision. I think Joker should be up there higher.
Get them up.
Their wings have been pretty on point the last couple of times I've been there. Striker's not too bad for a bowling alley. And then Bella Pizza. But then it kind of falls into your pizzeria wings. I don't know. You guys are looking at this. And by the way, Merce, Rest in peace, Murph's. Murph's is no more.
Rush Creek, right? That's they closed up not too long ago.
Oh, did
Rush
they
Creek
really?
Ale House, yeah.
Wow, it didn't last too
I
long.
think the number one that sticks out to me is Vinny's. I think Vinny's
Vinny's.
wings.
Cinderella story
they
from
used to
our
be
wing
super
bracket. Yeah.
inconsistent, but they have a new ownership now, and they have only 2 cooks like that cook all the time. So we were talking about consistency earlier off screen, and Vinny's has maybe one of the most consistent. They bred them a little bit too, kind of like a couple other places on your list, but their sauce and their consistency right now is way better than it ever has been.
Think about the places where you have to order the wings. You have to run up to the kitchen and you got to open the side door and it's sketchy as hell. I'm thinking of Climax. I think you order at the kitchen. You literally just go up and it's one of those like half doors and it's like you're getting the full experience.
Oh, yeah.
You got like
Vinny's
tin
is the
ceilings, awful bathroom, grouchy bartender. The wings are going to be fantastic.
Well, listen. So you were telling me about a place, I can't remember where it was, where you would get wings drunk or whatever at 2 a.m. I can't tell you how many times I've had drunk wings at Vinny's at 1 or 2 or in the morning. That is quite literally, I'm going to put them up here a little bit. I'm going to hype them up. Vinny's might be one of my 3 favorite bars in Western New York.
Damn.
Now it's 3 for $6. God damn it.
Oh,
It was 3 for $5. It was the best drink special ever, day or night, 3 for $5. Now it's 3 for $6. I love Vinny's. Don't love the wings. They're all right. And they're breaded, which again, it's different. I mean, it is unique. There's not a lot of them like that here in Western New York. But yeah, man. All right. So Vinny's is there on tier 5. The Ridge in West Seneca, relatively new. Yeah.
Haven't had Johnson's Landing.
Dime a dozen. They're all right. They're kind of like the Ridge. Yeah. Actually, they're in kind of why they're in the same tier.
Swanee is near and dear to us very much. Grew up like parking there, walking to the Sabres games. Never really thought the wings were that great. I feel like they've kicked it up a notch the last couple of years. So maybe like a tier for Swanee, but yeah, they're.
Before we move on real quick, I look at Snyder Bar and Grill. I kind of told you this before the show here when we were eating. And I don't want to call them out specifically because I think 85 to 90% of bars and restaurants are the same thing. The consistency is key. I did a show there a couple of years ago with Jay Skursky, and I was absolutely blown away. Went back there again not long after, and they were nothing like that. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not just trying to throw shade at Snyder. I think most places are kind of like that. So
we can see saw, yeah.
There's
absolutely no rhyme or reason to it sometimes. Sometimes you don't even know the reasons behind.
Yeah.
It's also hard to find help nowadays. So
100%. I was just going to say.
Quit, and then they get the new guy in, they got to train him again. So you might be there on their training day. And yeah, I mean, it's just tough to find help nowadays.
Yep. All right. So we're going to go to tier 4, which again, at this point, these are solid starters. I'm not going to complain. I go there, and if you want to get 20 wings, I'm like, sure, man, I'll get wings here. I think when people look at this, I think what's going to resonate probably in a negative way, a lot of people are going to say that Gabriel's Gate is too low. I think,
Too low.
I think, and by the way, this is 25 to 42 again, so all in one group. I think when you call something overrated, that means it needs to be rated really highly by a lot of people. You know what I mean? You can't call middle of the pack wing spot overrated if people don't think it's rated to begin with. I hear so many people put Gabe's Gate in their top 5, maybe top 10 and worse. I'm not there with them. I just don't think they're that good. Mimosas is another one. They're good. I like them. I look from Tom. I don't think he agrees much with me on that one. But talk about
I grew
that.
up in Hamburg, so Van Moser's was like my spot. You go to Hamburg Golf
They're
Course,
all right. They're
go
right.
back and get a free beer just for golf in Hamburg and get wings there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm kind of biased, but I think they're hot. Like, I base most of my judgment off of the hot, and their hot flavor is unbelievable and unique. It is super hot, but just the sauce alone it should be at least top 15 in my opinion. So
anything stick out to you there? I got Big Tree. This is a solid starters category is where you're starting to get to a lot of places that a lot of people know.
Yeah.
Like Big Tree, Engaged Gates, and we were talking about Dalmatia Hotel, which I didn't know. I knew it was closing. I didn't know when, but unfortunately,
end of the month, I think Dalmatia's closing at the end of May. Rest in peace, Lennox. They had a good run there, so they fell off the wing trail.
Yeah, that's right. I had wings there with Eric once. Eric Wood there. They were
the only spot we haven't had on here, maybe Sportsman and KO. Haven't been to KO yet.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
But I think we have Blackthorn in our tier 3. It's just like that's one of the most consistent places for me. It's like there's nothing that'll like knock your socks off there, but damn, it's good every time.
Yeah, and this is what I talked about earlier. Like once you get to like tier 2, tier 3, like end of tier 2 or tier 3, and tier 4, kind of like the same. You just have one extra step up, right? But I mean, they're all pretty comparable.
Sure. Coles and Good Bar right next to each other are now one, two big names. And again, let me be real clear, folks. This is at the point now where I'm good with these wing spots. I don't dislike anything on that list. Once we get to solid starter, I mean, I say solid starter. You know, you're Spencer Brown. You're a good player. You might not be a star player, but you're a solid starter.
We need you out there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so that was 4. Now we're going to get into tier 3. This is my all pro. At this point, this is where I think that I start to really enjoy these places a lot. Like I might go seek them out. I might not take a half-hour drive to go to any of these places, but I'm going to go there and I'm going to enjoy their wings. And there are a couple of pizza places here. I got Imperial Pizza there. I got Lenova Pizzeria. I got Macy's Place Pizzeria. Kind of all for the same reasons. These could be top 5 wings on any given day.
Yeah.
But big pizza-style restaurants, so many different employees. You never know what day from day to day who's going to be in the kitchen that day. So that might be why I'm a little bit lower. Doc Sullivan's a big name. 40 Thieves, I think you guys have heard of that in some kind of tournament or something like that, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
R.I.P. Tommy.
They stole the tournament, those thieves. Yeah, no, they walked away with that victory. That was insane, down to the wire, 50-50. A lot of good names on here. Like you said, as it gets towards the end, it's even tough to be like, oh, move down, move up.
Sure. By the way, this is 13. This is 13 to 24. So every place in here, in my opinion, anyway, is in the top 24. Let me run these off too, because again, for people listening, when we get to this point, I think they're worth a mention. Like Lenova Pizzeria, Macy's Place, Imperial, Doc Sullivan's, Judy's Lounge Bar and Grill in Niagara Falls, 40 Thieves, Sports City Pizza Pub, Climax Tavern, which, by the way, that is one of the coolest ass dive bars buried in North Tonawanda. Cheap as hell. Amazing.
You just need to
place
order a Miller High Life when you go there. I feel like it's protocol.
Yeah. Do a whole show about that. I love it. Amherst Ale House, another great place. G. McCarthy's, Pottersfield, sneaky ass good wings, by the way, in West Seneca, kind of South Buffalo border, and then more Pat. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more there is to add here. I think these are all really good, solid places. All right.
This is where it all starts.
This is where it all starts. All right, so we got 2 tiers left. 1 tier, and then my Mount Rushmore. All right, so this is the elite. Tier 2, the elite, 5 through 12. I have Beltline Brewery, Duff's, Wingnuts, the Autobahn North, Kelly's Corner, Mulberry, Casey's Black Rock, and Adolph's. Some thoughts on a couple of these. I know there's a couple, and let's be honest here, where you think that maybe these are a little bit too high, or maybe in some case a tier too low. I'm going to be honest. I'll come clean on this show. I told you this. I like Wingnuts, but I don't know that I should have had Wingnuts at this level. Maybe they should have been tier 3. I enjoy Wingnuts, but I don't know that they're one of my top 10 out of 90 something. So that would be kind of like maybe the one that I have second thoughts about. But besides that, I know. How do you feel about Autobahn North?
Yeah, that was one I don't think we would put in tier 2. And it's even to say I went to UB myself, had many nights at Audubon North, and my friend introduced it to me as, hey, there's a hole in the wall. Let's go hang out here. Always good for the chicken fingers. But there's also, good sauces that you kind of need to talk to someone to know about. Sometimes it's off the menu. Mm-hmm. I feel like that was my experience. I went to Audubon. I got 10 hot and 10 barbecue, and I'm like, meh. It's kind of like maybe if someone went to Swanee House for the first time and just didn't get the right order or didn't get it, cooked the way they wanted to. But okay, that's the only one where I'd be like, maybe one doesn't belong there. Kelly's Corner, not to get confused. I think there's a Kelly's Corner in Niagara Falls spelled with a C.
No.
This is actually
Buffalo. Kelly's with a K. Yep.
You're right. I realized that after. Yes. Yeah, we're talking about the North Buffalo one. Let me be clear.
Niagara Falls one.
I don't know the Niagara Falls one, so they're not on my list at all.
We've never been there either.
Let's be real clear about that.
Kelly's Corner with a K. We would both agree Kelly's Corner actually might be our favorite.
That's my number one sauce in Buffalo.
That hot sauce is just unbelievable.
I could put a straw in that sauce and drink
it. And it's great. It's another true neighborhood dive bar. Absolutely love that place. And then another place that I think is kind of getting its due now in recent years is Adolph's.
Mhm.
You know, that is a really good place. Some of the crispiest wings I've ever had.
Yep.
Smallest bathroom maybe in history. Well, 9/11 Tavern might have something to say about that. But
Oh, they got the little small door in the bathroom.
Yeah.
What is this, a door for ants?
Yeah, I
Needs to be at
post
least
every
3
time
times
go.
this big.
We
Yeah.
actually stumbled across Adolph's because Sports City Pizza Pub was closed for either remodel or
They
I
had
don't
like their
know.
liquor license suspended or
license
something. And we're like,
suspended.
okay,
Yeah.
not a huge
So
deal,
we
but
stumbled into Adolph's and
on a tour.
on a tour, and all 5 of us were like, "Wait a second, what is going on here?" And for 2 months after, I think I went there 7 or 8 times. I'm like,
Yep.
this is easily top 5. For me. Like it instantly, and it was our most liked post for probably like 3 to 4 months. The ADOS post because it blew up and they started blowing up too. And like you said, they're starting to get known. And I think we had a little bit to do with that. I'm not trying to toot our horn, but yeah, they have phenomenal food there.
let me, there's 2 other places before we get to the Mount Rushmore real quick that I want to hit on specifically. I know one of them we're in agreement on. We all love, and that is Beltline Brewery. That might be the biggest sleeper bar for wings, maybe in Western New York. It is absolutely. I mean, it's in the conversation for best wings period, obviously, because it's this high up on my list. But a lot of people don't even know about Beltline Brewery. It's kind of
tucked away. It's not
Yeah,
it's not.
yeah.
It's kind of hidden in plain sight.
yeah. I kind of feel like just kind of like Sonny Reds. It's kind of blossomed and people are starting to know a lot more about it. But that's a great word. It was tucked away and like people don't know about it. Dude, those wings are the bomb, man. They all dress wings or they're 716, their home base.
Yeah, it's like
Their
that.
home base is just absolutely incredible. And then the other one, which I laugh at the thought of it, saying Mulberry, but Mulberry wings are amazing. The owner is somehow tied into something to do with this. The wings are eerily similar.
Yeah.
And obviously that's in a good way. People don't go to Mulberry for wings though, man. You go there on a date or with your friend and you're going there to have an anniversary dinner or a celebration dinner. You're having Italian, you have the meatball, the pasta. I did a show there once, real quick story with Matt Marino and Nate Gary. And it was during Bill's training camp, right before it was about to start. And the theme was about like red flags going into the season, like were some of the biggest concerns. Most ironic thing ever. We were talking about Dawson Knox being a big concern. Dawson Knox is 10 feet away
No.
with his then girlfriend, and I think he's since fiance, literally eating dinner while 3 dudes with a microphone and headphones on are talking about Dawson Knox being a potential red flag, or something to be concerned about going into training camp. But anyway, Mulberry is great. And now here we go, man. This is going to be my Mount Rushmore, my top 4 places, the best of the best in all of Buffalo. I got Sonny Reds, which we were at, Barbell, Elmo's, and I got to put them because they are number 1. The other 3 you can kind of tier together. But to me, 9/11 Tavern, number 1. This is my Mount Rushmore, the best of the best. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
You can't disagree with this, and if you do, you got to get your taste buds checked out. That's all. That's pretty much all I got. I mean, these are all 4 of these are in my top 6. So
Right.
I mean, you can
That's a good way to
switch
put
1
it.
through 6 for me, are like my top. But you can't put 6 up there. But yeah, these are top 6.
Yeah, I mean, once you get, it's almost indisputable evidence at this point. Like we're almost to the point where like, F your opinion. These are facts. You know what I mean? Once you get to like the top 10, so like to someone to say like, hey, Barbell's not in my top 10. Okay, you can have your opinion, but I would just have to say I strongly disagree with you. You know what I mean? And you could say that. You could say that for all 4 of these right here.
Yeah.
Any like 9/11 experience, the people who say they don't like 9/11, or the people who say they don't like Barbell, are the ones who just had a bad experience there. They showed up, they couldn't get a table, maybe a server was a little bit rude to them. You know what I mean? Like, okay, but put that aside. I can't look at this and say you're wrong. I can't. There's no way to.
I put out a tweet I showed you earlier last week because literally everybody and their mother, anytime somebody ever says, well, I'm in Buffalo, where do I go for wings? Or where's the best wing? You hear Josh Allen say it. You hear all the players say it. Shaw McDermott just said it on Eric Wood's show last week. They always say Barbell.
Yeah.
And half of me is like, I get annoyed because I'm like, there's so many other great places. That's what
absolutely.
I tweeted about. There's this place. There is 9/11. There's Kelly's Corner. There's Beltline. There's just so many great places, and it's always Barbell. But then I'm like, well, they're as good as everybody says they are.
Yep.
You guys have been doing this for a while now. You know how it used to be. Anchor Bar was, everyone talks about Anchor Bar. Anchor Bar was the touristy spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Duffs.
And nobody never, and Duffs.
We just hope Barbell doesn't turn into that, to be honest.
That's what
with
I'm
you.
concerned about. It's like
Yeah.
everybody talks about Barbell so much now that they are the new anchor bar. They're the anchor
There's
bar
four
of
of
this
them,
not
generation.
yet. Open it that
I
way.
think
I'm
there's
talking
four
about
of them now.
popularity.
4 of them?
Well,
There's 4 now. 4
Well,
bars.
there's takeout behind East Aurora. There's the East Aurora. There's the Williamsville, and there's Rochester. So
Okay.
technically 4
Yeah.
Barbell locations.
Going from one.
That's all I'm
small
comfortable
to
with
4.
right now. To be honest with you, that's all.
Yeah.
Barbell, at this point now, like if Adam Schefter's coming to Buffalo, he's going to say he's going to Barbell.
Absolutely.
10 years ago, Adam Schefter's coming to Buffalo, he's going to anchor bar. Even if anchor bar sucks.
Correct.
Kyle
That's where
Brandt
everybody
did
went.
a segment on it too. He took a picture of wings at Barbell. No, this is not a stock image. This
Yeah.
is real stuff right here.
And this place, one of the reasons why I wanted to do the show at this place, to me, is the most underrated place in Buffalo.
Absolutely.
Underrated place.
I
I'm
agree.
not even just talking about the wings. The wings are the wings, and I love the wings. We had them. I know you guys love the wings as well. I'm talking about the place itself, man. The vibe in here, the other food, the pizza, the fish fries on
Brick oven
Fridays.
pizza. We're
The
looking
brick
at the
oven
Bruno
pizza
grill
is
right now.
amazing.
What's up, Bruno?
The service, the atmosphere in here, the vibe to me is literally second to none. There's no way at this point that I'm not going to put them on the list. Elmo's, I think, of the 4 is the most maybe controversial. It seems like
I'll say with that, and not to cut you off, but the one thing that just popped out to me is like of those top 4, if you order hot, you're going to be happy. If you order just hot at Elmo's,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like if you go there for the first time and you don't
great
know
point.
the double dip, strategy
Absolutely.
or whatever you would call it. So like I think that's the only one in my opinion. It's like
Yeah.
I was very disappointed the first time I went there.
Yeah.
And I went there and I think I've been there 3 times since. But
Yeah.
like Cajun honey mustard double dipped and then probably a Cajun hot.
Sure.
That's going to be up there.
Elmo's is the poster child for people who say, well, you can't have them ranked high because wings should be medium or hot. And that's what there's a school of thought. A lot of people will say that, wings, I kind of don't like that because then it's just a level playing field. And we talked about that. It's going to be a little bit of a variance. But there are a lot of people out there who will say, just because you have the best Cajun honey double dip wings or whatever.
Yeah.
Those aren't
Your
even
hot's
real
got to
wings.
hold the candle.
Yeah, that's it. Right. So I think they're the most controversial one to be on there. That said, I will drive 35 minutes to go get
Yeah. Oh,
honey
yeah,
Cajun double dip wings or medium Cajun double dip wings. So again, I have to put them on there. And then 9/11, you said it, man. It is quite the experience going there. And I think 99% of people who don't like it had a bad experience. And there's a lot of opportunity to have bad experience here because you're probably not going to get a table.
You got to be there at 4:15 because it opens at 4:30. It's only open till 9, so you can't go late either anymore because they change their hours. It's
And
only open like Wednesday to Saturday too.
and you got to have cash.
Yes,
It is no credit cards.
True.
So I did a show, or not a show. I went there with Jerry Ostrowski came into town with a couple of his kids. Used to play for the Bills. And a bunch of people met up there, and they didn't know that, that we couldn't get a table.
Nobody does.
B, they didn't know that you couldn't have a debit card. C, 7-Eleven across the street, the ATM was broke, so they couldn't get money. Luckily,
man.
somebody there had cash to Venmo, and they Venmo'd them, and, the guy gave them cash. So, yeah, all that stuff is crazy. But when the wings come out, there's not a better wing in Western New York than 9/11.
If you get like 40 wings and they're just stacked on top of each other, somehow they don't even move. It's like they're glued together. I don't know what they do. But
They
the
look
presentation
beautiful,
is to
too.
die for. It really
How much
is.
does presentation mean anything to you?
Absolutely.
How much does presentation
I mean,
mean?
clearly you could tell we like to take pictures of wings, even
Yeah.
if it makes us look silly sometimes, and that's one of the things we pride ourselves on the account too, is that like
Should.
you could take a picture, like an aerial picture, and the wings are maybe 1/10 of the frame, and the wax paper is overlapping. No one wants to see that. They want some like pornographic wing material. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
That's
I
what we
mean-
pride ourselves on. Is usually those 9/11 pictures pop. It pops.
You guys had a really nice pictorial of
Oh yeah.
the
No
wings
shame.
here before we just had them.
That's the worst part. Every time we get wings, it's like gotta wait like 5 to 10 minutes. Like they're crispy hot, but we gotta get
Yeah.
the
We'll
picture.
try to have like sneak one or
Everybody
two.
else
Like
enjoys the wings almost
wing
as much
style.
as we do.
I'd raise it from try one before you take the to-go hot box home. You know what I mean?
We're winding down here. Before we go, I kind of want to ask you guys. So you go to so many places and you have wings and you're evaluating them and it's also entertainment too. You know what I mean? People are entertained, like you were talking about, looking at sexy pictures. It's
Oh,
like
yeah,
food
yeah.
porn and shit like that. You get to the point sometimes where it's like, man, I'm sick of wings. Like I want that, like that steak sub looks so good. That burger looks so good. That whatever looks so good. But you know what? We're at a new place, and I got to write about wings. I gotta be able to talk about wings. I gotta have content.
I'll let you go on this, but my answer just no. Don't get sick of it.
The only time I really ever get sick of wings is when we do like a tour and we add we'll do 5 places.
Yeah, on a 6th spot, you're like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, and then you're like, and you tell each other on the way home, you're like, I'm not getting wings for 10 days. But then it was on a Saturday and Monday morning, you're like, it's wing night somewhere. Let's get wings again.
Yeah. just think about you walk into Duff's Millersport and it's packed and everyone's waiting at the door, and all of a sudden that vinegary hot sauce just hits your nostrils and you just start salivating immediately. All it takes is one picture for us to be like, hey, we getting wings tonight? So that's all it takes.
Did I get Duff's right? You think? I think I had them in tier 3, or did I? I don't know where they are.
I think it was
They're in
2.
Yeah, they're in 2.
I had them in 2.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier, and for the fact that they do have so many locations, and you might get some soggy ones sometimes, you might get some dynamite ones. They'll never be tier 1 for us, but if they're not in tier 2 or 3, you might have just this bias against disliking Duff's. They're not.
I've had a lot of bad experience there.
But damn, we grew up on it.
Sometimes I have great wings there too, but it's more of a touristy spot for me, right? If I'm gonna go, I live near one in Orchard Park in West Seneca. I'd rather come to a Sonny Red's, or I'd rather drive 40 minutes to Elmo's. I'm not gonna be like, let me go to Duff's today. That's just not me. But that's my opinion, right? So,
rhetorical question to end this here, because I know I do. I enjoy going to a place and having wings, and kind of, to me, it's almost like sports. Like I'm putting them somewhere. I'm not necessarily ranking them, but I'm kind of grouping them somewhere, and I just enjoy doing it. I enjoy the feedback when I put out an opinion, whether it's positive or negative. I feel kind of bad if I'm not too complimentary of a place where there's nice people and they might see that. Like you said, you don't want to hurt any business. You know what I mean? Unless they're assholes. If the service is bad or whatever, then game on. Game on. But kind of a rhetorical question. But you guys really seem like you enjoy doing this. Like, it's fun.
It's one of our favorite things. Like when we do those wing tours, what time does the first place open is our question. And if it's 11, we're there at 11:01. Yeah. If it's noon, we get a pickup truck, throw some beers in the back. We're ready.
You can tell when we get away from it too, because we'll go stale sometimes, and then all of a sudden the chat will fire up because everybody's ready for another tour, another 3 weekends in a row where we go review a new place, right? So we love it.
Doesn't get old. If that's what you're asking, Frank's hot sauce is in the air in Buffalo, just the way that Cheerio smell is.
Sure.
It's in our blood.
All right, tell everybody where they can find you with tell them what the Facebook page, Instagram. Where can everyone find Buffalo Wing Coalition?
Yeah, so similar to Kelly's Corner on Delaware, you scan a QR code for your menu. No, I'm just kidding. They don't even have a menu there.
Like what?
No, we're on Instagram. That's our main platform. When we do our posts, we link them to Facebook as well. So we've naturally grown our Facebook following, not as much as Instagram, but we do link the posts together. Find us on Instagram at Buffalo Wing Coalition. Anytime we do an updated pyramid, we pin it at the top of our board. So in the top left corner, you'll always see our updated pyramid. We will do stories every time we do a wing tour. So if we do a Route 90 wing tour, or we do a South Towns tour, or we do a North Towns tour, we always add those to our stories and our highlights so you can catch up on the places we've been to. But main following is on Instagram, and then we're also linked to Facebook too. So.
These guys do legitimately a phenomenal job. I dip my toes in, I get in and out, do a million different things. These guys are dedicated to the game. You're not going to find anybody better. So make sure, check it out, Buffalo Wing Coalition. Luke, for Tom, I'm Patrick. Again, thank you one more time. Sonny Reds, Mount Rushmore Wings, Sonny Reds, Barbill, 911 Tavern, Elmo's. Great vibe, great place. Be back with a brand new show, actually, Monday. Talk to you guys then.